Welcome to ETN Community Spotlight, where we shine the light on a local nonprofit organization. I'm Derrick Silas. Join me as we talk to today's special guest. I've always felt that history is one of the most important wealth of knowledge or branches of knowledge that you can have, because you can always see the failures and successes of those that have gone before you. And I always believe that history is written that we might learn to do better in the present and the future. So the Cherokee Strip Regional Heritage Center is a historical museum telling the fascinating story of the settlement and development of Northwest Oklahoma, among other things.
Right.
Tell me about the Heritage Center. Tell me how the Heritage Center got started in the Enid community and elaborate on its mission and purpose.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. You know, the Heritage Center started back in the 70s. Actually, even further than that, it started in the 1960s on the campus of then Phillips University. And it started by a group of people who their ancestors had actually made the land run of 1893. And it was all volunteer. It was a group of people, they called themselves the Sons and Daughters of the Cherokee Strip. Well, so jet forward, the city gave some land in the 1970s, and the Oklahoma Historical Society built a small museum on that location. And it was open for, 20-some years. And then in 2005, a group of community leaders approached the Oklahoma Historical Society and wanted just to kind of freshen up the museum. It had gotten kind of stale. And they had the idea of raising enough money to put all new exhibits in it and put some paint on the walls, just kind of freshen it up. Well, the community really got behind that, and the reason was they didn't feel that our facility at the time was adequate and was equal to the fascinating story that we had to share. And so the campaign started. Initially, it was just going to be a $3 million campaign just to update and freshen. Well, the community really got behind it. It turned into a $10 million campaign. We doubled the size of the museum. It became a model for regional heritage centers throughout the state. And voila, here we are 5 years later. The museum opened April the 1st, 2011. And so here we sit today, and we have this beautiful regional heritage center in Enid. The mission really is just a continuation of the ideas of those sons and daughters from the very beginning. They wanted the history of their ancestors preserved and told. It starts with the largest land run in American history, the land run of 1893, and then it continues even till today with the future and the development of Northwest Oklahoma. And our mission is to tell that story, that great story of the land run, but it has a second part to it, and that is to inspire future generations. And that's the part of our mission that we really get excited about at the Heritage Center, because it's those lessons that our ancestors taught us, the lessons of perseverance and having hope and having faith and not giving up and working hard and thinking outside the box, being entrepreneurs. I mean, Northwest Oklahoma is filled with entrepreneurs, people who came to this new land as it was being opened, and they had a dream and they had an idea, and no one was going to deter them. And that really is the story that we tell.
Okay. So in your role as museum director, what's your day-to-day operations like?
We wear many hats at the museum or the Heritage Center, and all of us do. We have a very small staff, and so on a day-to-day basis, besides just doing administrative work, which is never-ending, reports and things like that, we may be out in the village planting flowers like we were yesterday, or we may be inside working on a brand new exhibit like we've been doing today, or we may be getting ready for a very large special event or a rental that's underway, or preparing for a lecture series. Every day is different, seriously.
Okay. Well, I know the Heritage Center is not just a museum, It's an
Right.
environment filled with fun. You guys have a lot of fun things for kids and filled with education and
Yes.
history. Now, what can a visitor expect when they come to the museum and to the Heritage Center?
Well, a visitor is going to be engaged in our permanent gallery, which is 5 different exhibit galleries. They're chronologically going to be led through the story of Northwest Oklahoma from the opening of the land run through the different development eras, agriculture, oil and gas, the development of Enid as a cultural center in Northwest Oklahoma. We also have a gallery that focuses on the start and development of Vance Air Force Base, and then we have a gallery that's celebrating Phillips University as the first private university in the state. Once they've gone through the exhibits, we also have a movie that would kind of set things in context for you before you go through the gallery. And once they've done the inside, then we have Humphrey Heritage Village, which is a collection of 4 historic buildings, including the only land run office left from any of the land runs in Oklahoma. And that sits on the site along with a one-room school, a church, and a homestead, the Glidewell House. Okay. We also have a temporary exhibit gallery. We rotate temporary exhibits about every 4 months. And so we're always in the process of creating a new exhibit to fill that space. So there's plenty to do. We also have a family Saturday once a month, and the purpose of the family Saturdays is for the whole family to come and be engaged in some historic activity. For instance, it might be Glidewell House chores, and you get to experience what it was like in the 1890s to take care of a home and prepare a meal and wash the clothes and all the things that it took a lady of the house all day to do. And or it might be we've been doing gardening here lately, so you might learn gardening from an 1890s perspective. And it's really just fun activities for the whole family to engage in and be a part of. And then we also, on the second Wednesday of every month, we have what we call a brown bag lecture. And the topic changes, it varies widely, but it all has a historical content to it, and just enriches our lives, adds to the quality of our life to get to take that history and many times apply it to something today that's relative. So,
okay. I know my kids have had the privilege of attending the Turkey School.
Turkey Creek School.
Yes, and
yes.
Of course it's a wonderful experience for them. So the center partners with schools and to help, of course, to teach about history. What is the outline of that program?
Turkey Creek School takes place in our one-room school, and it is for 4th grade students that come from all over the state, and they spend a day in 1910. And so the school marm leads them through a daily curriculum that they would have had in 1910. The inside of the school is decorated and dressed as if it were 1910. They sit in little desks and they use their inkwells and their nib pens to do their homework and their school studies, and they do a spelling bee and they do ciphering and they do reading and the science of the day, and a school marm takes them through that whole class day. It's a very fun experience. You know, Turkey Creek School's been going on for quite some time, and I have adults that come into the Heritage Center now, and that's the first thing they'll say, I remember my day at Turkey Creek School.
Awesome.
So Turkey Creek School has been so well received and has become really a fabric of our life. Here a couple of years ago, we started Pioneer Life, which is for 3rd grade students. And so now they come and spend a day with us and learn what it was to be a pioneer. And so they're doing, they spend time in the land office, settling their claim, and then they do all sorts of hands-on things that pioneers would have done to just live daily. So it's very
You were,
fun.
you were talking about events on a monthly basis. Are there any other events that you have annually or?
We sure do. We have 4 major events a year. In the month of May, we have a Frontier Festival, and it's really like a down-home town social with a carnival and a box dinner and a dance. Very, very fun. And then we have lantern tours in September, which is our way of celebrating the settling of the Cherokee Strip. It always takes, September 16th was the day of the run, and so always around that date is when we have our lantern tours. And what that is 6 or 8 scenes that are, they're guided tours, and they walk through those scenes of history. And then we have a Family Farm Day in October. We've learned from our school kids coming to participate in our school programs that they don't know where their food comes from. You ask them, you know, where do you buy bread? At the grocery store. And where does corn come from? Well, it comes from a can. So Family Farm Day is addressing that. And then we have Christmas in the Village the whole month of December.
Okay. Cool. Now, how do you feel that the center has impacted the Enid community?
Oh, in a myriad of ways. It is enriching our young with a love and hopefully an inspiration, a love for the past and an inspiration for the future. It's bringing tourists to town. We know that. It's increased our quality of life here in Enid. Having a beautiful facility like the Heritage Center to go and enjoy special events or to recall our past or to just engage socially with others. It's a great gathering place. Another event that we host, it's not necessarily our event, but in the month of June we host Summer Chautauqua, and it is a huge event for our community. It's a whole week, the middle of June, and it is taking historic characters and bringing them to life first person.
Okay.
And it's just really a really neat community event. There aren't many Chautauquas left, and to have one in Humphrey Heritage Village under a big tent is really very fun.
Okay. Tell me quickly, if someone wants to get involved, contact or contribute to the organization, how can they do that?
We are always in need of volunteers. We have about 60 great volunteers and always looking for others, especially students in the summertime. And applications are available at the front desk. We're a nonprofit, and of course donations, that's our lifeblood. And so it's just as simple as contacting us by phone, 580-237-1907, or our website is csrhc.org.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
All right.